Red Hood has never officially been on the Justice League, but in the webtoon series following Red Hood and the Dark Trinity with Artemis and Bizarro, he finally had enough of Batman judging him. He volunteered the entire team to man the Justice League Watchtower for 1 month, handle Justice League level threats, and if it gets too bad, they're to call in the real team. This is Comicstorian. I make audio dramas of your favorite comic books or webtoons or basically anything I can get to. There's 2 series here. Complete stories, which are basically chapters, and single issues or portions of a story focusing on a title. We then do full stories where we put all of that together when we finish. Today we're going to be covering the Red Hood webtoons chapters 11 to 15. Let's get into it. There is no Superman. There is no Wonder Woman. There are no lanterns. As Darkseid looks over the burning city, he says that he is beginning to feel insulted. He doesn't even know who they are. Artemis jumps down asking what good is her name to someone who's about to die. Darkseid looks back. You're just an arrogant woman. You're really just human. Artemis tells him that he's right. It's one of her greatest strengths. She throws her axe, but Darkseid catches it with his palms. He laughs. I take it back. You aren't arrogant. You're just stupid. But rather than attacking directly, Artemis slides between his legs, telling him that he should have read up on the legend of Achilles, and she slices away at his leg. Darkseid screams as he falls to his knees, and Artemis says that her sword was laced with radion. It's going to make the next part a whole lot easier. With one swing, she cuts off Darkseid's head. As the training simulation ends, Artemis sighs, thinking that that should have made her feel a little bit better, but she's been stuck in the Watchtower for 5 days bored. 5 days since Jason volunteered to them to spend a month in space protecting Earth before asking her or Bizarro. But it's not too bad. They're a part of the Justice League, the ultimate good guys. Even when she was Wonder Woman, she wasn't accepted here. You'd think hanging out with Bizarro would be fun, but all he does is listen to music and watch movies. And without talking to Jason, she just feels kind of alone. Maybe she should try finding him. After debating for a moment, Artemis pokes her head into the control room to see how Jason is doing. And from the looks of all the cans of soda and snacks, he's staring dead into the computer, and it doesn't look great. He says that they gave him access to the computer, but not everything. There's something hidden, and he just can't quite. Artemis sighs, asking when was the last time he even slept. And judging on the fact that Jason's not even responding, she assumes that it's been quite a while, and she carries him to bed. Now with Jason out of the driver's seat, maybe it's time for Artemis to try and look at what Jason couldn't. But of course, the Justice League isn't going to offer all of their secrets to anyone. They're all hidden behind passwords, facial recognition, and retinal scans. However, that would also mean that there's a backup. After getting suited up, Artemis heads outside, opening up one of the servers and finds a disk. Bingo. Inside, she connects the disk to the computer and begins to comb through the files when she notices one labeled Outlaws. She opens it and her eyes widen. No. How did they know? And she quickly deletes it, but not before hearing a voice asking her, Is this lies? Artemis turns back to Bizarro. I never meant to hurt anyone. That was a different life than just... Don't tell Jason. Bizarro nods. Me no keep another secret. Later, Artemis continues training when Jason wakes up and tells her that he was a total Dick Grayson to her and the team. He let Batman get into his head. Truce? She tells him truce, but instead of shaking hands, Jason pulls her in for a kiss. Jason has been called many things over the course of his life, usually not very good things, but never were any of them sentimental. Something about not liking his past, but that's okay, because he has something better than sentiment right here in the present. But more importantly, it just hits right. Suddenly the alarms go off and Artemis says that he can't whisk them off to space, volunteer them for jobs they don't want, and then apologize with a first kiss. Jason asks her why not. He didn't think they played by the rules, but they should probably check on things. As the team flies down to Earth, Artemis keeps herself trying to make sense of what happened, whereas Bizarro holds up his music player to show a picture of the Titanic, and he begins to cry. Jason looks at him. Can't you ever watch something cool? And Bizarro, in his backwards way of talking, me always want to watch Fight Club ever again. Always. Jason throws his hands up. Fine, have it your way. It's not okay to feel red him. Jason tells him that feelings are trouble. They'll mess with your head and get you killed. Artemis then glares at him, telling him that he is such a man. A stupid, stupid man. And after they arrive on the Earth and find a small town in the desert with its inhabitants all turned to stone, she tells them that the intel from Oracle says that there are only 2 survivors, when suddenly she hears a scream. The 2 survivors are a mother and her child, and she's holding up a gun telling them to stay away. Bizarro holds up his hand. "We here to hurt you!" Jason steps in front of him. He doesn't mean it like that. He speaks backwards. Anyway, we're the Justice League, and we've come to help. The woman keeps her gun up, and she says that she knows who they are. They are not the Justice League. They are villains, they're evil, and they're mean. Artemis sighs, getting ready to speak, but Jason tells her that he's got this. He takes off his helmet. "I was mean. All of us were. We were bullies. But today I'm sorry and I'm trying to help. We want to be better. Will you allow us to help you?" The woman waits for a moment and then nods, lowering her gun. Artemis just laughs to herself, quietly muttering, "Stupid men." Artemis then turns to the child, asking what happened, and as the child begins to draw in the sand, the outlaws get their first glimpse of what's in store for them: Medusa. But before delving into the events that unfold next, it is time to step back to see Artemis when she was younger. As many young girls gather around the priestess, she tells them that this is not a religion, this is not superstition, this is fact. When you look up to the sky, you can see the beginning, Zeus, Omega, the end, and of course, their father Ra. Soon the children all begin to chant that Ra is dead, long live Ra. But among the children a hand is risen, and Artemis asks, "Why are all the gods men? Are there any female gods?" The priestess tells her that the answer is because these gods have fought and written their way into their legends, and it will be up to her to do the same, to stick together, to protect one another, as goddesses, as Amazons, as sisters. We now go back to the current time after the realization that they're going to be fighting Medusa. The team is looking around for clues to see what they might be able to find on Medusa, or at the very least, the cause of why Medusa would do such a thing. It is Bizarro that notices that some of these people are poachers, and Jason says that unless the whole town is a bunch of poachers, that isn't much of a motive. The wrath of Medusa. This is really some Wonder Woman crap. Artemis turns back yelling, "No, we don't need Wonder Woman, but we still need help, and I know who to ask." So a short while later, the 3 of them are walking up to a lone house in the middle of the desert as Jason asks, is she sure about this? She tells him yes. She knows this because this person is the laziest creature in the whole damn multiverse, and is someone that she trusts with her life. After knocking, the door slowly opens as the woman opens the door, leaning against it. "You're not DoorDash!" It's Medusa's sister, Uriel. She stands there looking at Artemis, smiling. "Babe, didn't think you'd be back ever." Jason looks at Artemis. "Babe?" Artemis doesn't respond, and Uriel invites them in. After pouring her guests some tea, Uriel says that they must be here because of her sister. Jason asks, "What gave it away? The statue people everywhere?" She laughs, telling him that she was almost expecting Wonder Woman. And Jason points to himself. "Yeah, well, we took over for the Justice League." And Artemis adds, "Yeah, we're a part of the team now." Uriel quietly stares for a moment and then bursts out laughing, taking Artemis by the hand. "The last time that we saw each other, you were robbing undersea bullet train casinos, and now you're the defender of the Earth?" Artemis pulls her hand away, telling her that the people are dying and they need to know why. After letting out a deep sigh, Uriel gets up and walks downstairs. "I thought my sister was just bored, or at the very least only attacking men. But honestly, she may have just snapped." Uriel says that if they want to find Medusa, then they'll need the help of this thing, and she pulls a cloth off, revealing a purple crystal ball. Jason says that he really doesn't like this, and Uriel says that he shouldn't. "Put your hands on this bad boy, and it's going to show you anything that you want. You can watch them, listen to them, and they'll never know. But beware, every second you use this, you're holding open a door, and the other side is a bunch of much worse things than Medusa. So who's going to step up?" After a few minutes of discussing who's going to, Artemis tells Jason that he doesn't have to do this. But he tells her no, he can. Uriel assists in the channeling, telling him to close his eyes and clear his mind. Focus on what it is that he wants to find. As glimpses of life fade away, Jason begins to see a figure, a woman with green skin and yellow eyes, the very one and the same Medusa. Once Jason is deep in trance, Uriel stands back, telling everyone that they need to leave him be for now. But before going, she tells Jason to hold on to it with both hands. And once he has the information that he wants, let go. If he stays any longer, he is risking letting darkness into the world. Back upstairs, Ural sets out some chips, stating that this one is super serious. She thought that maybe she'd end up with someone a little more fun. Artemis tells Ural that they're not a couple. Jason and her are a team, but Ural looks at her. You want to be more than that, right? Why? Artemis asks what does she mean, and she shrugs, telling her, I thought I knew your type. And Artemis scoffs, looking at her phone. Ural then turns to Bizarro. What about you? What's your type? Asking for a friend. You would be able to handle me. Ural laughs, telling him that she likes this one. But suddenly there's a scream from downstairs and everyone rushes to head over. Jason steps out. I know where she is. He walks by everyone and Ural points at him, stating, see? Super serious. Artemis goes to follow, but Ural stops her. Wait, there's something I want to give you. Bizarro heads outside, giving Jason a chip. I saw things I haven't seen since the last time I was here. When I died. Bizarro then hands Jason an earbud to listen to his music, telling him, you know got a friend in me. Jason laughs, knowing what he meant. But back inside, Artemis says that she really needs to go. Ural then turns back from her closet, telling her that she found it. Here. She hands Artemis a shield, the shield of Perseus. As Artemis is grabbing it, she cuts her finger, and Ural says to be careful, it isn't a typical shield. Artemis wipes her finger off, telling Ural that their goal isn't to kill Medusa. Ural says that she won't. She doesn't want Medusa to kill her either. After giving Artemis a kiss, she tells her to be safe. And as the three leave the house and have a somewhat awkward, silent ride, Jason turns back. You guys were friendly. Artemis says that they were more than friends, but it was never right. Back at the house, Ural watches everyone leave when a voice calls out asking if she'd gotten the blood. Ural says that she did. And Medusa steps out. You didn't have to give her the shield. Ural tells her just because she's helping her doesn't mean that she likes her. Besides, they both know that the outlaws don't stand a chance against Medusa. And that concludes today's episode of the Red Hood Webtoons series. Now, we ended up covering 11 to 14. I think I might have said the wrong number at the beginning, but that doesn't matter at all because we left off on a great cliffhanger. The battle against Medusa is what is going to be coming next. So what do you guys think about this Red Hood Webtoon series? Because it's kind of what I want from a Red Hood continuation of the Dark Trinity, and I'm loving it. They're currently up to, I think, like chapter 35 or 40, so you can definitely go to Webtoons and check it out yourself right now. But we're going to bring you the next part of this next week, where our Red Hood in the Justice League goes to battle against Medusa herself. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time right here at the Comicstorian channel.